Good morning, welcome back to casa.texpina. We're on build day number 207. It's Saturday and payday. What a week, oh man. Well, yesterday afternoon you saw that we had the windows delivered. We are expecting the window installers to come back today, hopefully, and also the granite installers to come back and continue, as well as possibly even the spandrel ceiling guys. That crew may come in today as well. That's what we're expecting. So I'm going to show you where the normal labor crew is at so far, and then as everybody else comes in, we'll show you what they're doing. So let's get started. All right, let's go ahead and walk on in. Mr. JoJo's up here in the front with Mr. Ramos, and they're going to get started on the floor tile for our walkway. So that's going to be JoJo's main task today. Whoops. Sorry. He set up tripwires. And Mr. Ferdy and Mr. Francis are busy working on baseboards all the way around the house. Mr. Gel is continuing to sand and paint our cabinetry here inside the master closet. He tells me as he was going through yesterday, anything that needed repaired, they repaired it yesterday. So there was very little water damage to here, so yay, good bonus. Okay, let's go ahead and head back out, see where everybody's at. Mr. JR is continuing to do masilyas on the baseboards. Mr. Stanley is painting the backs of the cabinets, and Mr. Allen is reconfiguring our lower cabinetry here to take advantage of where the sink finally ended up at. So we wanted to make sure that the cabinets underneath lined up with the cabinets on top. So we asked them to reconfigure those, and that's what he's working on. Here inside of the dirty kitchen, Mr. Chokoy is going to chip in a conduit raceway for our garbage disposal, so that the switch is just inside the door of the cabinet when Miss Emie opens it up. She said she did not want it on the backsplash. She thought that was ugly, very unattractive, so she didn't want it there. So she's going to put it underneath the cabinet, out of sight. All right, and out here on the back, Mr. Wilson, or Mr. Willie, sorry, Wilson's dad, Mr. Willie, is starting to install the tiling on the front facing of the patio. So he's going to be working this whole thing today, and with enough tiles left over, should be able to continue the rest all the way up to the door. So that's where that's at. And coming back into the garage, our two varnishers are in the house. Mr. Henry and Mr. Andy is here somewhere. They're both getting started on the doors and continuing with the large main door. So that's what they're continuing to work on. Mr. Jason has been busy making dry pack for Mr. Willie to use on the back porch there. And two of our painters, Mr. Wilson and Mr. Ricky, are continuing with filling and sanding the second go around on the sliding gate. All right, I do believe the last one I failed to mention was Mr. Alex. He'll be back in here momentarily. They are continuing with the backing boards for the support boards for the cornice that goes around the inside of our cove ceilings. So this is inside bedroom number 3, and he should be back in here momentarily. So this is where he'll start today. And not to be left out of all the work, Mr. Marlin, our foreman, is going to continue with the floor tile for the back patio. So he's going to continue the rest of the way here. And Mr. Willie will catch up to him quickly. And Mr. Jojo is getting started on the front walkway. I'll work our way the rest of the way in. And then back here on the back porch, the foreman has gone the rest of the way down the center here, and then starting to do the outside edge. He'll come back later and do this point, but first we're going to put in a we've got another piece of work that's got to go in here first to be able to supply the gas stove inside the dirty kitchen. We're not going to do the typical 20-pound tank underneath the cabinet thing. We're going to try to have the tank on the exterior of the building. Feel that's a little better, a little more safer. Mr. Andy here is getting ready to do he's doing the first coat of clear coat varnish on the French doors. These are the French doors that are going into the office. We're starting to put the first clear coat on it. Mr. Stanley here is working on the door frame here inside of the garage bedroom. First thing he's putting on is a first coat of primer. So it's a little gray primer. They've already scratched up the surface, get it ready for accepting paint, and that's what he's working on. Looks like the foreman is itching to get started on the garage. So we may have a garage floor by the end of next week. We're just going to get everything all set up today. We may or have a garage floor next week. Little steps. And Mr. Stanley has moved on outside, and we're doing the a second layer of prime coat, a primer over the top of the sliding gate. So, looking good. Get started with that so we can start painting it. Our door prep operations have been kicked to the side of the house, or back to the front of the house. So they're doing filling, sanding. This was after the first coat. Doing a little bit of masilyas, so a little bit of wood putty to cover in some of the crevices. Still working on the main door. Same thing, filler and sanding. Let's go take a look at the front. Our front walkway is coming along very nicely. All right. Let's go take a look inside. So the windows did come in yesterday. However, the window installers did not show up today, so I am assuming that we may start on Monday. So we'll have to wait a little bit longer. Coming on in, putting in the masilyas on the baseboard all the way around the master bedroom area. And Mr. Allen and Mr. Gel are still working here inside of the master closet. Continuing work on the cabinetry here. All right. Do a little site cleanup. Mr. Willie is still continuing to work the front edging on the back patio. He's working that front face. Let's go look here. I heard somebody in the back in the guest side of the house. I hear a drill. Aha. There's Mr. Alex is continuing with the backing boards for the cove ceiling. Still working on it a little bit. All right, we're going to walk around this afternoon just before closing and see what the guys have done so far today. So Mr. Stanley here is still working on the second coat of primer on the sliding gate. And coming in, Mr. Marlin, our foreman, has gotten the tiles set, ready to go for Monday. So this is the tiling pattern that's going to be all throughout the garage and down to the edge of the road. So we're going to have this down the garage, down the driveway, and right up to the edge of the road. So go ahead and continue on. Mr. Chucks has finished off with the yeah, it looks good, thank you. What we did here was we're going to put a garbage disposal up underneath the sink, and that's what that plug was for originally, but when we looked at it, it was like, hey, where's the switch? So he chiseled in the switch. We're going to put it over here, so this way the switch, somebody has to open the door and go flip the switch. So there's a conscious effort made before putting your hand down the sink. So they have to turn it on from underneath. So that should help a little bit of safety on that piece. We've got baseboards continuing around through the main part of the house. Mr. Ferdy over here working in the living room. And Mr. Francis has been working here in the master's bedroom all his way around, and Mr. JR right behind him putting on the masilyas, trying to get it all finished up. Coming into the walk-in closet, we have the first coat of paint, just base paint on all of the cabinets. So they're still going to continue with this next week. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look out front. Okay, and tiles out the front. So we've got about probably about 40% of the front walkway done. So Mr. Jojo is going to keep working on that for a little bit. Get to a good stopping point here soon. Our varnishers are still working over here in the shade on our doors, both for the main door doing filling and sanding, and on the doing the second round of sanding on our French doors. So we've got another round of sanding here. So they'll sand it down, put in a little bit more of the filling in the middle, and that's what they've been working on. So that's where everybody's at this afternoon. Oh, I did forget one. Let me go run back through the other side of the house. Okay, coming out. Whew, that's bright. Coming out through the house, coming to the back porch. Off the back porch. Look at the good job Mr. Willie has done all day. down here where you can see it. There you go. He's got the edge, front edge done for the edge of the patio. So he's going to continue the rest of that way. He's got about five, six more tiles there left to do. He might be able to get those in this afternoon. So that's pretty much a wrap for this week. What an eventful week with that typhoon in place. Oh man. Okay, so that's all right. Seems like I almost forgot it for the second week in a row. We needed to do shout outs. Definitely wanted to make sure that I said thank you to all of our subscribers. Thank you for the comments. Thank you for joining in our Philippine build experience. Today we reached over 1,500 subscribers, so we're at 1,500, new milestone for us. Yay! So let me thank the most recent additions to our casa.texpina viewers. It's Rodolfo Vergara from Santa Lucia, San Fernando, here in Pampanga. Thank you. Neil and Emily, also known as Bad Crayons. They have their own channel in the U.S. En route to Eastern Samar. Arnold Mary in Shreveport, Louisiana, originally from here in Angeles. And another Angelino, I think they call it Angelinos, Nathan in San Francisco, California. One last viewer just joined up recently, Alexander from Dallas, Texas. All right, guys, it's yabba dabba do time. End of the duty day, end of the week, and it's time to go home. So if y'all like today's video, please give us a big thumbs up. If you'd like to see more of these videos, hit the casa.texpina star right over here and you'll be subscribed. Hit the bell icon just below the view screen. You'll be notified of our next video upload for your viewing pleasure. So until we see you again on Monday, have a great afternoon, great weekend, and God bless.